Forget the bars for 1 second. Real panic starts when a fallen empire still reaches outside a jail wall, and rumor says Sean Combs never stopped reaching. Online chatter claims a prison warden caught an alleged escape play before any final move could happen. Online chatter also claims 2 familiar names floated near that alleged plan. Stevie J. Cuba Gooding Jr. No court filing on screen. No stamped paperwork in public view. Just a rumor with gasoline all over every social feed, and every social feed asking one question at full volume. If Sean Combs still commands loyalty from a cell, how deep does that loyalty still run? Picture the emotional whiplash inside that question. Sean Combs once moved through mansions, yachts, clubs, boardrooms, award stages, private jets, velvet ropes, and backroom deals with a kind of untouchable force. Now rumor paints Sean Combs under fluorescent lights, locked schedules, cold trays, hard walls, officer count times, inmate politics, and endless waiting. That contrast alone could power 100 headlines. A music titan reduced to routines written by correction staff. A man once associated with access, now allegedly searching for an exit. A name once big enough to silence rooms, now allegedly attached to whispers, watch lists, and desperate calculations. Another layer makes the story even stickier. The alleged escape rumor did not explode in a vacuum. Rumor after rumor has followed Sean Combs for months. Health talk, isolation talk, conflict talk, hygiene talk, appearance talk, pressure talk, special treatment talk, no treatment talk, fear talk, and humiliation talk. Verified facts remain scarce inside that storm. Viral gossip rarely waits for verification. Viral gossip only needs pressure, mystery, and a face large enough to turn private suffering into public spectacle. Sean Combs supplies all 3. A legend in collapse always draws attention. A legend in confinement draws even more. Now add the strongest psychological hook in an entire mess. The bars might not even be the center of gravity. The center of gravity might be the phone list, not the alleged route, not the alleged vehicle, not the alleged timing. The phone list. Which names still answer? Which names still text back? Which names still take calls, send reassurance, relay messages, defend character, float theories, soften narratives, or quietly move pieces from outside? That angle changes everything, because that angle turns an escape rumor into a loyalty audit. A loyalty audit terrifies more people than an escape rumor ever could. Sean Combs built an image around power, taste, excess confidence, and reach. Reach matters most in side scandal. Reach survives longer than money. Reach survives longer than applause. Reach survives longer than fashion. Reach sometimes even survives disgrace. Public disgrace may empty a room fast, but public disgrace rarely empties every room. A few chairs stay occupied. A few numbers stay active. A few names stay emotionally invested, financially exposed, socially compromised, spiritually loyal, or quietly afraid. Every fallen dynasty leaves behind a final ring of holdouts. Rumor says Sean Combs still has holdouts. Start with Stevie J, because Stevie J carries history, not just proximity. Stevie J links back to machinery, the sessions, the records, the myth-making era, the rooms where image and influence got built brick by brick. Stevie J does not feel like a random celebrity tossed into gossip roulette. Stevie J feels like institutional memory with a heartbeat. Public appearances, old affiliations, past collaboration, visible support, and a refusal to vanish from the conversation keeps Stevie J attached to the public imagination around Sean Combs. When a scandal grows large, public memory starts drawing circles around every familiar face that never ran. Stevie J also creates a powerful emotional contradiction. Most public figures flee heat. Most associates disappear into vague statements, lawyer-proof language, strategic distance, and selective amnesia. Stevie J, by contrast, often reads like a name willing to stand in the smoke longer than expected. That decision might reflect friendship. That decision might reflect stubbornness. That decision might reflect deeper entanglement in public perception. No hard proof on-screen confirms any alleged escape assistance. Public psychology does not wait for proof before building character roles. Public psychology already cast Stevie J in the role of loyal lieutenant who never fully walked away. Then comes Cuba Gooding Jr., a name that adds a different flavor to the same suspicion. Cuba Gooding Jr. does not symbolize studio boardroom legacy in the same way Stevie J does. Cuba Gooding Jr. symbolizes celebrity adjacency, party world visibility, and the kind of social overlap that makes old photos suddenly look dangerous after scandal detonates. Yacht pictures, event footage, shared circles, old smiles, and timing all become fuel once online audiences start assembling guilt mosaics out of fragments. A laugh on camera from years ago starts looking sinister. A supportive word starts sounding coded. A harmless old clip starts collecting ominous music in reposts. Cuba Gooding Jr. also carries separate controversy baggage, which makes online audiences even less charitable. Once a public figure enters the arena with any prior cloud, rumor gains traction faster. People do not analyze with courtroom discipline on social media. People pattern match. People stack vibes, headlines, old allegations, and facial expressions into one giant emotional collage. So when Cuba Gooding Jr. reportedly offered support around Sean Combs during a period when many others seemed eager to vanish, online audiences read that support through suspicion, not compassion. In scandal season, loyalty stops looking noble and starts looking strategic. That shift matters because the story stops being Sean Combs versus the state. The story becomes Sean Combs versus abandonment. Every major public implosion eventually reaches the abandonment chapter. First comes shock, then denial, then distancing, then silence, then selective betrayal, then revisionist history. Suddenly, every party guest claims early discomfort. Every insider claims moral clarity. Every collaborator claims limited exposure. Every hanger-on claims ignorance. A fallen giant does not only lose freedom, reputation, or wealth. A fallen giant loses the illusion of permanent alliance. Rumor around Sean Combs feels electric because rumor suggests Sean Combs may still possess enough emotional collateral to delay that final abandonment. That is why the alleged escape rumor grabs harder than a regular jail rumor. The rumor implies strategy. Strategy implies communication. Communication implies trust. Trust implies surviving structure. Surviving structure implies Sean Combs may still control a pocket of allegiance large enough to matter. Not enough allegiance to restore an empire. Maybe not enough allegiance to alter a case. Maybe not enough allegiance to secure release. But enough allegiance to keep a network breathing. Enough allegiance to send one message that becomes two calls, that become three favors, that become a rumor big enough to shake every lurker watching from industry shadows. Look at the silence surrounding Sean Combs, and another truth emerges. Silence carries fingerprints. Some names joke. Some names duck cameras. Some names post vague captions. Some names pretend no connection ever existed. Some names never speak because any sentence might reopen old footage, old rumors, old party lists, or old testimony. Silence can mean wisdom. Silence can mean fear. Silence can mean legal caution. Silence can mean nothing at all. Public audiences almost never accept silence as nothing. Public audiences read silence like a confession written in invisible ink. That environment puts extra spotlight on any name that speaks at all. A calm defense sounds suspicious. A prayer sounds strategic. A measured statement sounds rehearsed. Continued contact sounds incriminating. Even basic empathy can get reframed as proof of hidden knowledge. Sean Combs exists inside a scandal so radioactive that normal human gestures start mutating on contact. That mutation explains why Stevie J and Cuba Gooding Jr. keep resurfacing in rumor cycles. Staying visible during social panic creates narrative gravity. Narrative gravity pulls every old association into fresh scrutiny. Another detail fuels the fascination. Jail stories always flatten a public figure into raw survival. Luxury disappears. Branding disappears. Publicists disappear. Glamour disappears. Curated entrances disappear. What remains? Appetite, fear, ego, shame, leverage, memory, nerve. Sean Combs inside a cell becomes more clickable than Sean Combs on a red carpet because confinement strips the myth down to instinct. Did Sean Combs allegedly lash out? Did Sean Combs allegedly struggle with conditions? Did Sean Combs allegedly try to prove toughness? Did Sean Combs allegedly push for escape? None of those claims carry full independent confirmation here. Every claim still feeds the same appetite. Audiences want to watch power confront helplessness in real time. Sean Combs also attracts a special kind of obsession because Sean Combs spent decades embodying control. Control over rooms. Control over aesthetics. Control over business narratives. Control over how arrivals felt. Control over how departures felt. Control over who sat near the money, near the cameras, near the opportunities, near the aura. Control-heavy public identities generate especially intense fascination once control cracks. Audiences start asking not only what fell apart, but when fear entered the system. Rumor about an escape attempt scratches that exact itch. Escape rumor feels like control addict finally meeting a wall that charisma cannot negotiate. Stevie J and Cuba Gooding Jr. become useful symbols inside that humiliation economy. Neither name needs verified participation in any alleged plan for rumor to explode. Mere mention is enough. Mere association is enough. Mere possibility is enough. Social media does not always spread the strongest evidence. Social media spreads the strongest symbolism. Stevie J symbolizes old inner circle loyalty. Cuba Gooding Jr. symbolizes celebrity social crossover. Put both names next to Sean Combs, and an alleged escape rumor suddenly feels cinematic, even before factual support catches up. Now step back and watch the larger design. Rumor paints Sean Combs as a man trapped between two collapsing worlds. Inside the facility, Sean Combs allegedly faces stripped status, hard routines, possible tension, and the psychological shock of confinement. Outside the facility, Sean Combs allegedly faces evaporating alliances, public mockery, legal danger, historical reinterpretation, and an internet that treats every old relationship like fresh evidence. A man caught between inward pressure and outward abandonment becomes psychologically legible to audiences. Audiences understand desperation, even without access to verified details. Desperation feels believable long before desperation gets documented. Another uncomfortable question follows close behind. If an alleged escape rumor could travel this far, what other unseen conversations might still be happening around Sean Combs? No answer on screen confirms secret arrangements, hidden intermediaries, or off-record maneuvering. Still, audience imagination races toward the darkest possibility every single time. Could old gatekeepers still be protecting reputations? Could old friends still be softening narratives? Could old loyalists still be testing loyalty chains? Could fear still be organizing silence? Could secrets still be buying time? Viral stories expand through questions more efficiently than through declarations. Questions recruit the audience into co-authorship. Sean Combs also represents a broader fantasy collapse. The fantasy that enough influence can always solve disaster. Plenty of celebrity culture runs on that fantasy. Enough money fixes problems. Enough fame opens doors. Enough access creates exits. Enough famous friends close ranks. Enough handlers smooth chaos into silence. Jail stories terrify celebrity audiences because jail stories challenge that fantasy in blunt terms. Bars do not care about hit records. Lock schedules do not care about guest lists. Institutional walls do not care about curated mystique. An alleged escape rumor feels almost mythic because rumor suggests Sean Combs discovered the exact limit of a lifetime spent mastering access. Even the names outside the rumor tell part of the story. Jay-Z, Usher, Meek Mill, Naomi Campbell, and other frequently discussed names circulate in surrounding commentary, sometimes because of old associations, sometimes because of silence, sometimes because of rumor chains built by strangers online. No responsible reading turns silence alone into guilt. No responsible reading turns adjacency alone into proof. Internet culture regularly ignores responsible reading. Internet culture wants connective tissue, symbolic cast members, and hierarchy maps. Sean Combs provides a scandal large enough to pull half an era into orbit around a single cell. That orbit creates fear beyond Sean Combs. Every former ally now faces a basic strategic dilemma. Speak and risk deeper association. Stay silent and feed suspicion. Joke and look cruel. Defend and look compromised. Distance too aggressively and look opportunistic. Show loyalty and look implicated. There's no clean move once public trust implodes. That trapped feeling may explain why a few names keep hovering awkwardly instead of planting any clear flag. Scandal turns every reaction into a clue hunt. Audiences punish overreaction and underreaction with equal enthusiasm. At the center of all that noise sits one brutal possibility. Sean Combs may be learning in real time which relationships were built on admiration, which relationships were built on convenience, which relationships were built on fear, and which relationships were built on mutual exposure. Nothing cuts through celebrity mythology faster than crisis. Awards banquets never reveal loyalty. Raids reveal loyalty. Indictments reveal loyalty. Confinement reveals loyalty. Rumor about outside help hits so hard because rumor suggests Sean Combs may still command enough of that final category to keep danger alive beyond the walls. And yet rumor also exposes weakness. A securer king does not need clandestine rescue mythology. A securer king does not generate online speculation about outside fixers. A secure king does not produce comment sections full of jokes about slipping through bars, decaying image, or faded status. Secure power looks boring. Insecure power looks frantic. The alleged escape chatter frames Sean Combs not as untouchable royalty, but as a desperate executive staring at a shrinking list of callable names. That image is devastating whether the rumor proves true or collapses tomorrow. Watch the tonal split online, and another layer appears. Some viewers treat the entire thing like dark comedy. Memes, one-liners, visual jokes, hair jokes, baby oil jokes, prison food jokes. Other viewers treat the same rumor like a gateway to a much larger map of hidden loyalty inside entertainment power circles. Same rumor, two completely different consumer experiences. Comedy on one side, conspiracy-flavored sociology on the other. Viral dominance happens when one story can feed both appetites at once. The alleged Sean Combs escape chatter does exactly that. Still, the darker side never disappears. Every joke floats above a more serious undertow. What conditions inside would push a man like Sean Combs toward alleged desperation? What emotional state would make an old friend worth calling? What kind of remaining leverage would keep any outsider engaged? What history would make Stevie J or Cuba Gooding Jr. useful symbols in the first place? The audience laughs, then immediately starts theorizing. That oscillation between amusement and dread is pure retention fuel. Every cliffhanger survives longer when humor and danger trade places every 30 seconds. The most original way to read the entire saga is not as an escape room at all. The most original way to read the saga is as a shrinking circle story. Every scandal eventually becomes a census. Count the defenders. Count the opportunists. Count the cowards. Count the ghosts. Count the people still answering. Count the people still pretending no history exists. Count the people waiting to see which direction protects self-interest best. Sean Combs may be sitting in a cell, but the real cage might be outside. A cage built from fear, exposure, secret incentives, and the unbearable cost of staying loyal too long. Sean Combs also embodies another nightmare that fascinates ordinary viewers. The possibility that private character and public image can diverge for decades without consequence, until one day consequence arrives all at once. Once that rupture happens, every old clip mutates. Every old smile gains menace. Every old defense sounds suspicious. Every old ally looks compromised. The alleged escape rumor plugs directly into that rupture. Rumor whispers that the old machine may still be alive under the wreckage, still humming, still signaling, still looking for an exit route nobody else can see. Maybe no route existed. Maybe no plan moved beyond rumor. Maybe no outside assistance happened. Maybe the story dies tomorrow under scrutiny. Even then, the rumor already revealed something valuable about public belief. Huge segments of the audience find the allegation emotionally plausible. Emotional plausibility does not equal truth. Emotional plausibility does explain virality. Audiences click hardest when a rumor feels like the next logical beat in a downfall already accepted as mythically large. Sean Combs has reached that stage. Nearly any rumor that fits the emotional silhouette now spreads at speed. So ask the hardest question, not the loudest question. Not, did an escape almost happen? Ask, why does the world so easily believe Sean Combs still has operators outside the walls? The answer sits in legacy, fear, access, old favors, old compromises, old dependencies, and the stubborn residue of power. Power rarely evaporates in one clean flash. Power lingers in habits. Power lingers in phone contacts. Power lingers in people who still owe, still fear, still admire, still remember, or still hope proximity might someday pay again. Sean Combs may have lost freedom. Sean Combs may not have lost every channel. Sean Combs may now be facing that memory test in brutal form. Which calls still connect. Which former brothers still answer. Which old party companions still speak. Which once loud supporters suddenly vanish. Which silence hides caution, and which silence hides panic. Which loyalty comes from love, and which loyalty comes from mutual destruction. No jury needed for audiences to obsess over those questions. Social media turned the whole scandal into a giant behavioral lab, and every public figure connected to Sean Combs now performs under permanent observation. That is why the story feels bigger than one alleged incident inside one facility. The story now measures the half-life of power. How long can aura survive confinement? How many allies remain once headlines rock goodwill? How much myth keeps breathing after gates close? Sean Combs built a career around controlling momentum. Now rumors suggest momentum has flipped directions. Momentum once pulled strangers inward. Momentum now pushes associates outward, leaving only the bold, the trapped, the compromised, or the genuinely loyal still standing near the blast zone. Drop one verdict below. Blind loyalty, strategic silence, or mutual fear. Best answer might expose more than any leaked rumor ever could.